Welcome back. As we promised also, we are going to shed more light on the latest press conference which was held by Her Excellency Dr. Manal Awad, Minister of Local Development, when she said that the government's motto for the upcoming period is serving the citizen, with a focus on simplifying all procedures related to various laws, and particularly to also simplify all the procedures for those benefiting from Hayat Karima initiative or decent life. To shed more light on the press conference and on the most important points which were said, we are very much delighted to have with us by phone His Excellency Ambassador Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, former Minister Commercial. Thank you very much for being with us, sir, and a very good morning.
To you and to the viewers.
Hello?
Hello. Good morning to you and to the viewers.
You hear me well, sir?
Yes.
Before going into details of the most important points which were mentioned by Her Excellency Dr. Awad, that Upper Egypt, despite the fact that unfortunately it was neglected for such a long time, or at least not given the perfect attention, now the case is totally different. Tell me more about the development program set by the state, which started about a decade ago, in fact, to Upper Egypt Governorate in specific.
This is the one of the focal point that is paying more attention to the Upper Egypt, I mean with the many Asyut, Sohag and the governors, which constitute the core of the Upper Egypt. When the government and the president is paying attention to these governors, four governors, this means that we are meaning business as far as the standard of living level of the services and investment rendered to the citizens, and also giving impetus to the local government and, more importantly, to the local business persons to involve themselves deeply in the development projects which are being implemented there in these four important governors, which constitute more than 40% or 45% of the population of Upper Egypt. This is very important and vital for the total development of Egypt, beginning from Upper Egypt, which at some time was neglected, but now the government is still paying more attention to it and giving it priority in its investment programs and projects.
And also, Her Excellency Dr. Manal spoke in her press conference with the collaboration between her ministry and the United Media Services Company to have a campaign to spread awareness among the citizens with the new procedures, or the simplifications, or simplifying the procedures for the citizens for the best interest of all. I mean, to be a drive for economic progress. To simplify the issuance of the permits of building, for example, to have the reconciliation with the ministry for violations unfortunately committed by some citizens, stuff like that. How do you see using media in this regard, and how do you see taking into consideration that this is the best way to have a win-win situation for the best interest of the citizen, and in the same time not to accept any violations?
This is very important because many citizens, because lack of knowledge or ignorance, they commit, I will say, they commit crimes in this respect. When there is awareness, raising awareness means that the people know beforehand what can be done and what should be done, and how to do it, and with whom they would cooperate and ask permits before they begin in establishing or implementing any of their local government projects. So the people need to know in a very clear, and it should be clear to them what is needed and what they can do and how they can do it, and the cost involved, who will bear the cost, and all these details are very important for citizens, because many, will I say, many crimes are committed because of lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
I called it crimes because it is against the community as a whole. When the people know beforehand what can be done and how it can be done and who will give the permit, this means that life will be far simpler, which should be very simplified also to citizens so they can benefit of the many development projects which if the government is implementing in Upper Egypt, specifically these four basic or four focal governorates of Mania, Asyut, Sohag, and Qena, who constitute more than 60%, will I say, of the population of Upper Egypt.
The minister also continued to elaborate on the fruitful cooperation among different ministries and different governmental institutions. And no more isolated islands. All governmental institutions, all ministries are cooperating together to achieve goals on the ground. How do you see this as, of course, better late than never? How do you see this as one of the pillars of achieving sustainable development goals, sir?
This is a focal point. This is the win-win situation which the minister, Her Excellency Minister, is referring to. This means that even the World Bank is very happy with what they are seeing in Egypt in these four governors when they see that a real development is being done, and there is something very important, that the different organizations, ministries, they are not working as isolated islands, but rather as one team, knowing the destination, knowing the goal and the goals, and knowing the roadmap, clear roadmap for the ministries to achieve the common targets of the development project which are implemented by the government, the Prime Minister, and the President himself. This means that all these organizations are working as a team to reach one goal for all of them, that is raising the standard of living of the Egyptians in these four governments.
Also, sir, the minister, or Dr. Manal, spoke about the first phase of the national projects which were constructed or held under the umbrella of Hayat Karima, or Decent Life Initiative, to make life easier for millions of Egyptians. She said that there are field visits, and she is following along, of course, with her team of the ministry, minute by minute even, all the developments of these projects, and if there are any obstacles on the way, to be eliminated on the spot, not to wait for papers, for bureaucratic procedures or stuff like that. And this is already announced in this press conference. How do you see this, and how do you see the field visits and these projects affiliated to the ministry? Her
Excellency, the Minister, is exactly facing the problem of what needs to be done and how to solve the problems locally, not wait the directions and orders from Cairo, but rather solving their problems locally and in collaboration with the different and several organizations, whether government organization or private sector, even international donors in this respect. This means that we are facing the problems and solving the problems on the spot, and it saves time and effort and also energy and resources which will not be dispersed in projects which were not necessary. And now we are sure that every penny which is dispersed in this respect is to the right project, very clear roadmap for all partners to collaborate and put their hands together to implement the government and the government plans as far as the development of Upper Egypt is concerned.
Dr. Manala Awad was such a successful governor of Damietta, so she knew well on the ground the problems of the local administrative councils. So she said that there is a reshuffle of the local administrative councils all over Egypt. She also said that there is interviews for about more than 1,500 interviews were made, and there's going to be new faces, new blood injected into these councils to make sure that there's going to be all the time a direct contact with the citizen and to implement on the ground all the facilities, all the simplifications to solve all problems. How do you see this, and how do you see this, sir, as a transparent way of determining or deciding the problem and finding a way to solve it?
This is a pragmatic approach to face the problems and solve it on the spot. Luckily, the Minister of Local Government was the governor of one of the governorates, and she was a successful governor, and that is why she was appointed Minister of Local Government, and she pinpointed the importance of collaboration and cooperation between the different organizations, the private sector and the international donors, and also the inviting would-be investors to look to these areas because they are lucrative. This is a lucrative market for the foreign investors. I'm referring to this because it's very important for us. We need to showcase our success in this governance because this invites collaborators, investors, and new investors to come and invest in these areas. This will greatly help the government efforts as far as development of Upper Egypt is concerned.
To echo what you have just said, sir, the minister said also that there is ongoing efforts to train the local administration staff and to have workshops for them, to let them go into training sessions to make sure that they are fully equipped with the latest information, the latest data, how to deal with the citizens, how even to improve their way of thinking to meet with current changes and challenges. How do you see this, sir?
Training is very important for local government officials to know what needs to be done, how to do it, and how to economize in time, effort, and energy and cost, so that we can have the better results and more fruitful way in implementing our national projects are concerned. This means that the government is, the minister herself is keen to see results on the ground in the shortest time possible, and this will enable many new projects to come and crop out, and will also encourage the individuals, the private sector, to involve itself in the development project of Upper Egypt, and this is what is needed at this time.
Sir, thank you very much for your input. You are always an added value to our programs. Have a very good day. We were very much delighted to have with us via phone His Excellency Ambassador Ayoub Mahmoud Ayoub, former Minister Commercial. And by this we come to the end of our breakfast show. Stay tuned on Live TV International always for more updates. Many thanks for watching. This was Nirmina Abdurrahman.